there, no. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Step right through the door. But don't care where you've been or what you've seen before. Right there, hang your coat. Please take off your shoes. Just sit down and don't be scared. You have nothing to lose. Close your eyes now and I'll shut the lights. There's no ever coming back this time. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in, Hi there, no. Hi there, you must be new. Come meet all my friends. It's your dare, so pucker up. The party never ends. Right here, settle down, have a little drink. A deep breath for every hit. Who cares what people think? Close your eyes now and give up the fight. There's no place for you to run and hide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in. Hi there, no. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in. We just pull you back in. My heart is home to a gold mine, and you have struck a vein. Just pull me into your bright light, and I am yours to claim. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. Move the mountains in my life will never be the same. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Step right through the door. We don't care where you've been or what you've seen before. Right there, hang your coat. Please take off your shoes. Just sit down and don't be scared. You have nothing to lose. Close your eyes now and I'll shut the lights. There's no ever coming back this time. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back up, but we just pull you back in. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Come meet all my friends. It's your dare, so pucker up. The party never ends. Right here, settle down, have a little drink. A deep breath for every hit. Who cares what people think? Close your eyes now and give up the fight. There's no place for you to run and hide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back up, but we just pull you back in. with my emotions all the time. Pull me up, push me down, throw me deep into the fire. But lately I can't seem to let you go. Through the highs and the lows, you're the only thing I know. You ask me to stay, then you can't pull me away. My mind and my brain are the only games you play. Is there even a chance I can make you understand that you don't give a damn when you're holding out your hand? Playing cards and dominoes, the king of hearts will never know. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Playing cards, the king of hearts. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. I've seen your every face in every light. If I scream and I shout, would you know I'm still alive? So make your one last wager for the night. By the luck of the draw, I will leave before I die. You ask me to stay, then you can't pull me away. My mind and my brain are the only games you play. Is there even a chance I can make you understand that you don't give a damn when you're holding out your hand? Playing cards and dominoes, the king of hearts will never know. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Playing cards, the king of hearts. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Our love paradise. Our love paradise. Pennies over love, pennies over love. You left me feeling down, you left without a sound. You played it by ear, can't even hear when I'm screaming loud. Underneath it all, I began to crawl. I'm on my own, better alone, I will never fall. Don't think of coming back to me. Won't waste my time for your money. I'll take my pennies over your love any day. when I can't hear a sound. I don't need help by myself, I can make it loud. With a heart of gold, even when I'm old. Playing with darts, playing with cards, I will never fold. Don't think of coming back to me. Won't waste my time for your money. I'll take my pennies over your love any day. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't need to take my pennies over love. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't need to take my pennies over your love. Take my pennies over your love. I don't need to take my pennies over love. I don't need to take my pennies over your love. Sit down and hear me talk. You know how we pretend we're who we aren't. There's something on my mind tonight, but now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. Lonely is the price I pay for all these mistakes I've made. Every single time I break, it's no more than I can take. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you to stay away from me. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you, begging you, begging you to stay away. Just erase the pain I hide. There's nothing I would keep from you. But now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you to stay away from me. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you, begging you, begging you to stay away. there, no. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Step right through the door. But don't care where you've been or what you've seen before. Right there, hang your coat. Please take off your shoes. Just sit down and don't be scared. You have nothing to lose. Close your eyes now and I'll shut the lights. There's no ever coming back this time. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in, Hi there, no. Hi there, you must be new. Come meet all my friends. It's your dare, so pucker up. The party never ends. Right here, settle down, have a little drink. A deep breath for every hit. Who cares what people think? Close your eyes now and give up the fight. There's no place for you to run and hide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in. Hi there, no. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in. We just pull you back in. My heart is home to a gold mine, and you have struck a vein. Just pull me into your bright light, and I am yours to claim. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. shining in my eyes was dull before you came. You moved the mountains in my life, will never be the same. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners gonna sin. Sinners gonna sin. Sinners gonna sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Step right through the door. We don't care where you've been or what you've seen before. Right there, hang your coat. Please take off your shoes. Just sit down and don't be scared. You have nothing to lose. Close your eyes now and I'll shut the lights. There's no ever coming back this time. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back up, but we just pull you back in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Come meet all my friends. It's your dare, so pucker up. The party never ends. Right here, settle down. Have a little drink, a deep breath for every hit. Who cares what people think? Close your eyes now and give up the fight. There's no place for you to run and hide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back up, but we just pull you back in. emotions all the time. Pull me up, push me down, throw me deep into the fire. But lately I can't seem to let you go. Through the highs and the lows, you're the only thing I know. You ask me to stay, then you can't pull me away. My mind and my brain are the only games you play. Is there even a chance I can make you understand that you don't give a damn when you're holding out your hand? Playing cards and dominoes, the king of hearts will never know. It's your move, so throw 'em high. Our love, paradise. Playing cards, the king of hearts. It's your move, so throw 'em high. Our love, paradise. I've seen your every face in every light. If I scream and I shout, would you know I'm still alive? So make your one last wager for the night. By the luck of the draw, I will leave before I die. You ask me to stay, then you can't pull me away. My mind and my brain are the only games you play. Is there even a chance I can make you understand that you don't give a damn when you're holding out your hand? Playing cards and dominoes, the king of hearts will never know. It's your move, so throw 'em high. Our love, paradise. Playing cards, the king of hearts. It's your move, so throw 'em high. Our love, paradise. Our love, paradise. Our love, paradise. Pennies over love, pennies over love. You left me feeling down, you left without a sound. You played it by ear, can't even hear when I'm screaming loud. Underneath it all, I began to crawl. I'm on my own, better alone, I will never fall. Don't think of coming back to me. Won't waste my time for your money. I'll take my pennies over your love any day. When I'm feeling down, when I can't hear a sound, I don't need help by myself, I can make it loud. With a heart of gold, even when I'm old. Playing with darts, playing with cards, I will never fold. Don't think of coming back to me. Won't waste my time for your money. I'll take my pennies over your love any day. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't need to take my pennies over love. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't need to take my pennies over your love. Take my pennies over your love. I don't need to take my pennies over love. I don't need to take my pennies over your love. Sit down and hear me talk. You know how we pretend we're who we aren't. There's something on my mind tonight, but now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. Lonely is the price I pay for all these mistakes I've made. Every single time I break, it's no more than I can take. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you to stay away from me. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you, begging you, begging you to stay away. Just erase the pain I hide. There's nothing I would keep from you. But now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you to stay away from me. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you, begging you, begging you to stay away. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Step right through the door. But don't care where you've been or what you've seen before. Right there, hang your coat. Please take off your shoes. Just sit down and don't be scared. You have nothing to lose. Close your eyes now and I'll shut the lights. There's no ever coming back this time. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in, Hi there, no. Hi there, you must be new. Come meet all my friends. It's your dare, so pucker up. The party never ends. Right here, settle down, have a little drink. A deep breath for every hit. Who cares what people think? Close your eyes now and give up the fight. There's no place for you to run and hide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in. Hi there, no. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in. We just pull you back in. My heart is home to a gold mine, and you have struck a vein. Just pull me into your bright light, and I am yours to claim. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. The light shining in my eyes was dull before you came. You moved the mountains in my life, will never be the same. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Step right through the door. We don't care where you've been or what you've seen before. Right there, hang your coat. Please take off your shoes. Just sit down and don't be scared. You have nothing to lose. Close your eyes now and I'll shut the lights. There's no ever coming back this time. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back up, but we just pull you back in. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Come meet all my friends. It's your dare, so pucker up. The party never ends. Right here, settle down, have a little drink. A deep breath for every hit. Who cares what people think? Close your eyes now and give up the fight. There's no place for you to run and hide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back up, but we just pull you back in. time. Pull me up, push me down, throw me deep into the fire. But lately I can't seem to let you go. Through the highs and the lows, you're the only thing I know. You ask me to stay, then you can't pull me away. My mind and my brain are the only games you play. Is there even a chance I can make you understand? And you don't give a damn when you're holding out your hand. Playing cards and dominoes, the king of hearts will never know. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Playing cards, the king of hearts. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. I've seen your every face in every light. If I scream and I shout, would you know I'm still alive? So make your one last wager for the night. By the luck of the draw, I will leave before I die. You ask me to stay, then you can't pull me away. My mind and my brain are the only games you play. Is there even a chance I can make you understand? And you don't give a damn when you're holding out your hand. Playing cards and dominoes, the king of hearts will never know. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Playing cards, the king of hearts. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Our love paradise. Our love paradise. Pennies over love, pennies over love. You left me feeling down, you left without a sound. You played it by ear, can't even hear when I'm screaming loud. Underneath it all, I began to crawl. I'm on my own, better alone, I will never fall. Don't think of coming back to me. Won't waste my time for your money. I'll take my pennies over your love any day. Whoa. take my panties over your love. When I'm feeling down, when I can't hear a sound, I don't need help by myself, I can make it loud. With a heart of gold, even when I'm old, playing with darts, playing with cards, I will never fold. Don't think of coming back to me, won't waste my time for your money. I'll take my pennies over your love any day. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't need to take my pennies over love. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't need to take my pennies over your love. Take my panties over your love. I don't need to take my panties over love. I don't need to take my panties over your love. Sit down and hear me talk. You know how we pretend we're who we aren't. There's something on my mind tonight, but now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. Lonely is the price I pay for all these mistakes I've made. Every single time I break, it's no more than I can take. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you to stay away from me. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you, begging you, begging you to stay away. Just erase the pain I hide. There's nothing I would keep from you. But now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. I want you to stay Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Step right through the door. But don't care where you've been or what you've seen before. Right there, hang your coat. Please take off your shoes. Just sit down and don't be scared. You have nothing to lose. Close your eyes now and I'll shut the lights. There's no ever coming back this time. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in, Hi there, no. Hi there, you must be new. Come meet all my friends. It's your dare, so pucker up. The party never ends. Right here, settle down, have a little drink. A deep breath for every hit. Who cares what people think? Close your eyes now and give up the fight. There's no place for you to run and hide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back in. Hi there, no. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back out, but we just pull you back in. Back in, back. We just pull you back in. My heart is home to a gold mine, and you have struck a vein. Just pull me into your bright light, and I am yours to claim. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. you came. You moved the mountains in my life, will never be the same. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Step right through the door. We don't care where you've been or what you've seen before. Right there, hang your coat. Please take off your shoes. Just sit down and don't be scared. You have nothing to lose. Close your eyes now and I'll shut the lights. There's no ever coming back this time. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back up, but we just pull you back in. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Get the world you're in. Hi there, you must be new. Come meet all my friends. It's your dare, so pucker up. The party never ends. Right here, settle down, have a little drink. A deep breath for every hit. Who cares what people think? Close your eyes now and give up the fight. There's no place for you to run and hide. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. Drink up all your money to forget the world you're in. Welcome to a fairy tale where sinners come to sin. You know you gotta get back up, but we just pull you back in. with my emotions all the time. Pull me up, push me down, throw me deep into the fire. But lately I can't seem to let you go. Through the highs and the lows, you're the only thing I know. You ask me to stay, then you can't pull me away. My mind and my brain are the only games you play. Is there even a chance I can make you understand that you don't give a damn when you're holding out your hand? Playing cards and dominoes, the king of hearts will never know. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Playing cards, the king of hearts. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. I've seen your every face in every light. If I scream and I shout, would you know I'm still alive? So make your one last wager for the night. By the luck of the draw, I will leave before I die. You ask me to stay, then you can't pull me away. My mind and my brain are the only games you play. Is there even a chance I can make you understand that you don't give a damn when you're holding out your hand? Playing cards and dominoes, the king of hearts will never know. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Playing cards, the king of hearts. It's your move, so throw my our love paradise. Our love paradise. Our love paradise. Pennies over love, pennies over love. You left me feeling down, you left without a sound. You played it by ear, can't even hear when I'm screaming loud. Underneath it all, I began to crawl. I'm on my own, better alone, I will never fall. Don't think of coming back to me. Won't waste my time for your money. I'll take my pennies over your love any day. When I'm feeling down, when I can't hear a sound, I don't need help, by myself I can make it loud. With a heart of gold, even when I'm old. Playing with darts, playing with cards, I will never fold. Don't think of coming back to me. Won't waste my time for your money. I'll take my pennies over your love any day. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't need to take my pennies over love. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't need to take my pennies over your love. Take my panties over your love. I don't need you. Take my panties over love. I don't need you. Take my panties over your love. Sit down and hear me talk. You know how we pretend we're who we aren't. There's something on my mind tonight, but now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. Lonely is a price I pay for all these mistakes I've made. Every single time I break, it's no more than I can take. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you to stay away from me. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you, begging you, begging you to stay away. Just erase the pain I hide. There's nothing I would keep from you. But now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you to stay away from me. I want you to stay away. I'm begging you, begging you, begging you to stay away. My heart is home to a gold mine, and you have struck a vein. Just pull me into your bright light, and I am yours to claim. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. The light shining in my eyes was dull before you came. You moved the mountains in my life, will never be the same. Help me, I'm caught here in the crossfire. Won't you save me from my misery? Catch me, I'm falling like a landslide. Don't you know what you have done to me? I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. I'm falling like a landslide. Sit down and hear me talk. You know how we pretend we're who we aren't. There's something on my mind tonight, but now that I've fallen too deep to control it, when you put your hands on me, I can't stop it. It's you that I'm calling for now. I just can't help myself. Lonely is the price I pay for all these mistakes I've made. Every single time I break, it's no